from our new educational program, Pathways. He's working on the project Evaluation and Feedback. So his speech, Chasing Dreams, Ron McKenzie.
Many years ago, my wife and I went on our honeymoon to Las Vegas. Now, I'm not much of a gambler, and yet still, one of my most memorable moments from Las Vegas was gambling. We found a machine I actually liked. It was a big machine, and it was a mechanical machine. You put quarters in it. Inside the machine, we had fake horses. It was medieval themed, and they were actual physical horses, and they would go around the track, and they would have odds of winning. And you'd bet on them, supposing red was 6-1. If red won, you get 6 times your money. And the fun thing about it was, there'd be like 8 people sitting around, all cheering on their horse, even though you know it's predetermined. It's still fun to sit there, come on, Red, you can do it, don't slow down now, you're a juggernaut! And so we had a great time, and in the trip in general, and then about 10 years later, we went back to Vegas on vacation. And there was a part of me that said, oh, we gotta do that thing again. We gotta play that game again. And so I went down, I knew exactly where it was, except it wasn't there. And there were similar ones in other casinos, I remember. So I went to those casinos and looked for the game again, in different flavors, and they weren't there. Okay, it bothered me a little bit. We ended up having a good time in Vegas anyways. We did new things, interesting things, different things. Probably the best thing we did on that trip was shooting guns. It's always the forbidden fruit, right? As a Canadian, like shooting automatic weapons in Vegas, it just seems like the thing to do. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that things change. The philosopher Heraclitus says, you can never step in the same river twice. Now, what he's talking about, of course, with the river analogy, is the river's always moving. And even if it wasn't moving, you just stepping in it is enough to change it. But Heraclitus wasn't talking about rivers. He was talking about life. Everything, all the time, is in flux. It took me a while to understand how this applied to life. I'm a high school teacher. Many years ago, I was teaching in Ajax, and I had a games club. And we would play StarCraft, StarCraft 1, for those who have heard of it. Legend and lore carved in stone somewhere. And we had a great time. It was a great community, and we really enjoyed the game. Then I moved back to Windsor, and I would find myself buying similar games. I bought Age of Mythology, similar game. I played it for like 5 hours at most. I bought some Total Annihilation Kingdoms, I think it was. I think I played that for maybe an hour. Bought StarCraft 2, I thought this is the one. Maybe 2 days, played that. And then I realized, ultimately, what I was doing was just chasing dreams. It was nothing about what I had in front of me, per se. It was the memory I was chasing. There was a memory of something I had that was awesome, that was special, and I wanted that again. But the truth is, I had to accept Heraclitus' conclusion. It's never going to be the same. Each time is different. And so I had to come to some tangible things to do in my life to embrace this. First, of course, don't buy stuff for sentimental reasons. Like once you bought it once and didn't use it, and bought it a second time and didn't use it, like don't buy it a third time. For example, my wife loves to buy shortbread. There's this magical place in her past when she was a child and her aunt made the best shortbread ever. And she's chasing that. But unfortunately, as you get older, your taste buds die, so it'll never taste the same. Never. Don't tell her this, though. The second thing I do is try not to force it. Try not to make it like it was before. It's not going to be the way it was before. In my classroom at Massey now, interesting things often happen. And there's a temptation to try and take that interesting thing that happened last year and do it again. For example, a couple years ago, one of my students was curious how tall she was because she had to get measured for her grad gown. I'm like, okay. I go on my door in front of my classroom and I put a piece of tape and I mark her height. And then of course the next person comes in, they want to know their height. And once you have 2 pieces of tape on the door with heights on them, that quickly turns into 20 pieces of tape where every single person wants their name and their height on my door. And it's cool and it's special and it's interesting, but the problem is you can't make it happen the next year. It has to happen organically, you can't force it. So the next year instead what ended up happening, out of nowhere, students were flicking cards. And then it came into getting good at flicking them, to flick them across the room, until one accidentally stuck in my corkboard. Well, now it became a game. And within 3 days, there'd be 10, 15 students in my room flicking cards like mad at my corkboard to try and stick them in. And again, as tempting as it is the next year to try and make it happen again, I've learned from Heraclitus. It's never the same. It's always in flux. Don't force it. Amazing things will happen. And the third thing is old advice that you should have heard many times. Seize the day. Accept the fact that today is not going to be yesterday, no matter how awesome yesterday was. But if you accept today for what it is, the beauty of what is around you, each new person you meet, each moment, if you accept that it can't be what it was yesterday, but today, if you embrace it, can be the best version of today. Now, I've learned a few things from Heraclitus, but don't let me imply to you that you should throw away everything you love and live each day just for itself. Because at the end of the day, you still know what rivers you like to walk in. Madam Toastmaster.